Hi, my name is Emra, and this is EA Trucking YouTube channel. Today with me is gonna be my friend, my business partner, and another YouTuber, Enis from Never Stop Trucking. And you already guys know him probably. He is popular on YouTube. Today we'll be talking about how to deal with difficult drivers. So Enis used to be a truck driver before. He has experience with driving a truck, has a lot of experience as well with dispatching itself. We're doing also courses that we just finished, first one from November, and we are in this business combined over like 25, 28 years. I'm not even sure at this point. And he's very smart. He knows a lot of things, and I just like to introduce him to my channel. Hi. Hello, Enis.
Hi, Emro. Thank you for the overly nice introduction.
It's
Um,
not overly, and that's all true.
I'm trying to just help people come into this business. That's all, and that's how I had a privilege to meet you as well.
Yes.
And it's great to be working together.
Thank you for being on my channel. And to go to our topic today, when it comes to dealing with difficult drivers, I think you would agree if your driver is giving you a lot of headache, if he's not, for example, he's not answering your calls, he's not replying to your text messages, you're trying to do your best, you're spending your time of the day looking for loads for him. You call brokers, you negotiate, you might even take a load because it's the best load you have seen in a couple of days already, and there's nothing better. And you didn't want to lose it, you just take. Then you try to call your driver, he doesn't answer, and after like an hour, he does answer, and he says, "No, I don't want that." He sits at home for 5 days. He doesn't take anything because market is kind of bad. And to deal with that kind of drivers, I would just recommend to not to. So basically, do not deal with that kind of drivers. Tell him, hey, I'm spending too much time on this and I'm not getting paid anything for that, because most of the time, and you guys are gonna have your own carriers that you work with, smaller carriers that you work with, and all of that. If he does waste a lot of time from your day, you might have used that time to get a better load for another carrier, or find a different carrier altogether to start working with you. It's just not worth it. And Enis, what do you think about that?
I totally agree. You're even more forgiving than I am with our
Yes.
experience together. I would always like people are like that. You can't change a person that easily, and who are we to change someone? The older you get, the harder that is for everyone, including myself. And if someone is like that, the chances are that they're not going to change, and it's not going to be a good business deal for any one of you. Now that driver might find a dispatcher that's either willing to tolerate that, or that they don't really care about that, and that's all great. If they match together, if they click together, if they can work together, it's all good. But in our experience, and we both agree that this is kind of like a toxic relationship. You can only get into fights if that's something that bothers you, and I think it should bother you, because that way, like you said, we are not being paid by hour or on salary. We are paid essentially by the percentage of a load that has been delivered. So all that time that you're calling on a load and trying to find the best deal for that driver, and then you try to get a hold of the driver and they're not answering on their, or they might even answer and say something like, hey, I found a load for myself already. And okay, well, that happens, but at least let me know in advance that you're going to be looking for a load for yourself, or someone else found me a load, or I'm not even going out, or something like that. Then it's just not a good way to run a business for both of you. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that, especially when he finds a load, he never says that he did so, and you just spent the day looking for load calling brokers and all of that for nothing, just to offer him the best load. The best load happened to be the one that you seen like 11 a.m. or noon. You call him at that time, he already has a load, so you just spent the whole morning calling for nothing. So it's kind of it's not that you should turn down everybody that starts acting weirdly. So, some of them used to, even with us, ask for a lower percentage rate and ask how much are you guaranteeing for a week, how much I'm gonna earn for a week, and all of that. And by doing that, we just assume those guys are gonna be hostile anyways. They will not take any loads from us. They will just ask for too much and stuff like that. But it turned out that some of them did actually not. They were okay, and they're still working with us. So that's why you already mentioned I am more forgivable with them, and I give them a lot of chances, even more than I should have. Because the people tell me he doesn't, nobody's gonna tell you, hey, I don't want to work with you anymore. Instead of that, they'll just ignore you, let you work for them, and they gonna keep refusing loads and all of that. They're just making excuses that I used to believe to, but I give them chance up to the point that any kind of excuse anymore does not make any sense. And that's the line I do not cross. I tell them right away, hey, it's been a pleasure working with you, even if it wasn't. I like to be pleasant with people as much as I can. It was a pleasure to work with you, but that's it. We can't work with you anymore. That's it.
Yeah. Well, and I didn't mean also, I just want to clarify, like we said in the beginning, well, if that person, that driver acts that way, and then we shouldn't be working together. Of course, you should give everyone a second or a third chance. I'm actually talking if this happens on a constant basis, if these
Yeah.
things keep repeating, if it happens once or twice or three times, it's different. It happens to everyone. But if you see that someone is going to be acting that way all the time, then it's probably time to talk to them first. If after talking to them nothing works, then it might be a good idea to part ways. But I think that you should at least talk to them and tell them the things that you don't like and that you think that will affect not just your relationship, but even the business for them as well. Because if they are not answering the phone, if they are not available, then how are you going to book them a load? You're going to miss all those loads, and they're just going to stay there, and they're not going to be driving that day or that week. So I think we should just talk to them and tell them, I've been looking all morning and I tried to get a hold of you. Can you make sure that you have your phone with you, especially when we are looking for a load? And it's kind of important that you call me. If you can't answer right away, everyone finds themselves in that situation. If you cannot answer right away, at least call me back as soon as you can, like in 2, 3, 5 minutes. Just call me back, and then we can talk. When I started doing this work, even then, when an owner operator wouldn't answer the phone, I would just stop looking for a load until they call me back. I'm calling them 3 times and they're not answering, offer them 3 loads. It just doesn't make sense. So I wait for them till they call me back, and then I will start looking for a load again. And who knows, they might improve. They might be more careful as far as answering to you. Like me and my brother, he drives, he has his own truck in my company, in my trucking authority. And we always joke, like, if a dispatcher calls you and your wife, then you gotta answer. And sometimes before he started driving here, I would call him and he would answer. But now he has to answer every time because he thinks I'm about to offer him a load, even though if it might be something private, he's like, no, now I gotta answer. Maybe, he's offering me a load. So, and that's the way it should be. If a dispatcher calls you, if you have that healthy relationship and that they're not calling you for nothing, that they're going to offer you a load or something really good, then naturally, you would want to answer.
Yeah. You also mentioned when you worked with owner operators, For a company, like if you're a dispatcher for a bigger company, you're paid by hour. You don't get any more or any less if one of the drivers doesn't want to take any loads, if he doesn't answer. But in those instances, you have to be sure to do your part of the job. Your part of the job is to try, call him. It depends on the company policy that you're working for. Generally, if you don't have any policy, to try to avoid any possible problems, like somebody might accuse you that driver doesn't answer for whatever reason, it's best to just call driver multiple times through a day to make sure that maybe his phone was out of charge or something like that in the morning, but he was able to charge it later in the morning, and he can answer you at that time or something like that. And if he does answer but he doesn't take any loads, your job is basically to keep offering until he does take something or until your shift is over. If your shift is over, you offered like 15, 20 loads a day, he didn't want to take anything, you can't do anything about that.
Well, I think that you have a few kinds of trucking companies. Let's categorize them in three categories as far as this problem goes. You have a small company, like my trucking authority right now, and your drivers, your owner operators, and you're friends with some of them. Some of them have been with you for a long time, and you even talk to them after hours about other like private things. You know them in person. You become good friends, and you know a lot about each other. So naturally, you start to worry if they don't answer the phone. Like, hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
Why are they not answering? And you can afford that kind of relationship. In my opinion, that's the best relationship that you can have as a dispatcher versus a driver or owner of the company or manager with the owner operator. Then you have a second category that would be a big trucking company that does not have a lot of rules, like you just mentioned. Nowadays, you have a lot of trucking companies growing rapidly, and they become so big. Like, at one point of time, they have like 10 or 20 trucks, and now all of a sudden they have 50 or 100 trucks or 200 trucks, but they still didn't work out some details. And then you have all these dispatchers, like 10 dispatchers or more. They are trying to call these owner operators, so drivers, they are not answering. And, someone like their manager might be angry with them if the driver does not answer. And that's because they don't have rules set. They didn't grow up that company as a company yet. Then you have a company, like I know a lot of other companies that grew, and they implemented some rules. And even for owner operators, and they're very strict, they have a board. And if you turn down a load, just one load, you go back to the bottom of the list, and they're going to keep calling other owner operators. And then once it's your turn, they're going to call you and offer you a load. With us, I like to do it that way. I like to keep offering an owner operator a load until they take it. They don't want a load. You tell me why. Why don't you like load? Because of that. Okay, I'll find you something else. And then sometimes you may even offer them 10 loads. But in those companies, the moment you turn down a load, it doesn't matter what kind of load it is. You turn down a load, you go back to the list, and that's how they work. And you take it or leave it as a driver. You have to obey by the rules. So it depends in what kind of a company, what kind of culture and rules they have.
It was nice to learn something new. I didn't know that.
Yeah, there is a lot of companies, especially bigger companies, especially the companies that are doing a lot of dedicated work or contract work. And you can find that with hazmat or tankers. And that's the way they do it. And the owner operator, I mean, they really pay good money to those owner operators. They make good money, but they have rules. And you cannot pick and choose and like, hey, I don't want to go there, or I'm sick, or no, they treat owner operators, as far as that goes, in that aspect, as a company driver. They pay them well, they pay them more than other companies are paying their owner operators, but they have certain rules that they abide, and these owner operators are aware of that. Believe it or not, these owner operators are making way more money this way when someone is forcing them to do these loads, as
Yes.
opposed to someone who's like picking and choosing, and they want to go at a certain day, or they want to be home, or they don't want to go to a certain area. No, this way they're making way more money, but you got to follow the rules.
When driver lets you to decide as a dispatcher, lets you decide and go for a week or two, show him what he can do, those weeks are the best ones. If he does not choose, if you do not have to ask him, hey, this load goes here, goes there, pays this much, you don't have to explain that area is good on all of that. You just call and see the best one, you book it, he's gonna go for it.
Yeah, so the moment the driver realizes that you are their friend, I just made a video yesterday, I'm going to release that soon. The moment that driver realizes that a dispatcher is their friend, not the enemy,
Yeah.
they will do so much better. And I know I drove myself for almost 10 years, and I had good dispatchers and I had bad dispatchers. But if you have a really good dispatcher and you just listen to them, even though you might not agree with them, at the end of the week, it turned out that they were actually right. So I just didn't know at that time.
That's usually the case.
Yeah.
That being said, I think that would be it for this topic, and I would like to thank you for being on my channel.
It was my pleasure.
Thank you. For everybody who's watching, please go there and subscribe to his channel. He's got really good videos. He's in this business for way longer than I am, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and then make sure you stay tuned to Emro. We just finished this course, Ready to Dispatch course together. We were instructors on that course. We started it together, and we taught some people a lot of things about dispatching. So, make sure you stay tuned for Emro's channel as
For
well,
sure.
because you will learn great things.
For sure. Thank you, Enis. And his link is going to be in the description. Also, there will be a link for our Ready to Dispatch course if you're interested in that. And that would be it for this video. Thank you for watching, and bye-bye.
Thank you. See you.
See you.